What's up, guys? How are you? Happy Friday. Welcome in to another episode of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault, at Sports Talk Matt, to follow me across all the social media outlets. And this podcast being brought to you by omahasteaks.com. You guys should go to omahasteaks.com. In the search bar, use the code JUICE. That's going to take off over 60% on this tremendous package of food. They're calling it the Hotter Than Fire Pack. $99.99 is going to get you a ton of meat, ton of food, plus 12 free Omaha steak burgers with the promo code JUICE. 100% satisfaction guaranteed at omahasteaks.com. Code word JUICE in the search bar. All right, 1-0 last night, so great. We're up 1 unit. That's good. So we're progressing nicely here. We're up here, winning week, going into the weekend for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, welcome back, sports. Welcome back, actually, things we can bet on. Got 2 baseball games I want to get into, and I got 1 NBA Summer League game that I want to start off here as well. I'm going to pot shot on the NBA. So we're 3-1 with the NBA Summer League. I'm going to keep on taking shots, and we're going to come on back fading the Phoenix Suns, who are 0-3 in the Vegas Summer League and who have been beaten up pretty badly. So we talked about this before, about who the Suns would be sitting. Sorry, I guess they're 1-2. Excuse me. Sorry, they're 1-2. This team is not great defensively, giving up about 78, 79 points per game. They have a minus 5.4 point differential so far, lost their last game, and they're playing the Utah Jazz, who are 3-0, who are scoring 103 points per game right now for Utah. That's the third best offense in the Summer League right now here in Las Vegas. Opposing points per game for Utah, they're giving up, not a ton, but they're giving up 95 points per game, which is basically middle of the pack. But Utah is 3-0, and they have a 7.7 point differential so far going into this. The line's 5. Okay, it's a little steep. I'll give you that. But again, we're going back to looking at the rosters, and the Suns have nobody on their roster worth talking about all that much. And it's just, they've got 1 draft pick that they have sent here to Las Vegas. And while Utah hasn't sent a ton, they have sent more, okay? They sent the 9th pick in the draft this year in Taylor Hendricks, the 16th pick in the draft in Keontae George, the 28th pick in the draft as well in Sensabaugh. They sent the 14th pick from last year's draft, okay? So in Agbaji, is that how you say Agbaji, right? Ochai Agbaji, right? So trading from the Cavaliers, but got him in the draft. So they've got players that they are trying to develop. They got young talent. And look, Utah is playing well, okay? There's no debating Utah right now has looked like one of the best teams. Utah was decent in the Utah Summer League. They're 1-2 in that, but they won their last game. Now they head into this one with a 3-0 record here, and they're trying to keep pace. The Cavs are 4-0. The Rockets are 4-0. Utah is 3-0 with a win. They would join them with 4-0. I'm going to lay the 5. It's a little steep, but I think there's a big difference in teams here. Utah, -5 up against a really lackluster Phoenix Suns team here in Summer League. Utah, -5, -110 for 1.1 units. Okay, 2 baseball games. Ohtani is pitching. I came close to taking this and betting it, and it's 8. I thought about betting the under. I just can't stomach under games, and I can't stomach taking an under out of the All-Star break. So we're going to look at Boston against Chicago. Brian Bello up against Kyle Hendricks. Brian Bello is better on the road. Kyle Hendricks is worse at home. Brian Bello 6-5, 3.04 ERA. Kyle Hendricks 3-3 with a 3.04 ERA. Red Sox have won 5 games in a row into the break. I think the Red Sox are going to win this game coming out of the break. The line is -117 here in Vegas on the Red Sox. I'm going to ride the Brian Bello train here because he's been the best pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, and the Red Sox have won 4 of the last 5 games started by Brian Bello. The only game that they lost, Brian Bello pitched tremendously well, went 7 against Miami, and lost the game 2-0. He's won 4-2, 3-1, 4-1, and 3-2, beating the Yankees twice along the way, and he's been very, very good on the road. 2.87 ERA, 2-1 record, an opposing batting average of .228, and only 10 earned runs given up so far on the road. In June, Brian Bello had a 2.14 ERA. In July, he's a 2.57 ERA. Red Sox are 2 games out of a wild card as we start the second half of the year. I'm going to take the Red Sox to go ahead and beat the Cubs. The Red Sox need to play well on the road in the second half. They're 22-21. That's not great. The Cubs are 21-22 at home, however. That's not great. And Kyle Hendricks is a right-handed pitcher that the Red Sox should be able to take advantage of here and should be able to score some runs. Before the break against the Yankees, Hendricks gave up 4 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings worth of work. In his last home game against the Phillies, he went 7, giving up 3 earned runs. So it's a guy who at home has a little bit of a higher ERA. In the month of July, he has a 3.86 ERA right now, and at home, 3.80 ERA, 1-2 record with an opposing batting average of 274. Red Sox money line to beat the Cubs coming out of the break here for -1 at 117, 1.17 units down on that. And the other game, well, it's Sandy Alcantara. I know we got burned betting this the last time, and maybe I'm going to get burned betting this again. But the total is 8.5. Baltimore has not been an over team at home, and the Marlins have not been an over team on the road. But Sandy Alcantara is still 3-7 with a 4.72 ERA up against this lineup for the Orioles that's been very potent and has had put up some big numbers in the first half of the year. On the road, ERA of 5 for Sandy Alcantara. I know things have been a little different in July, 3.86 ERA, but he is 0-1 with an opposing batting average of 283. The last time he pitched, we bet the over, and he gave up 1 earned run in 6 2/3. The final score was 4-3. It went under. This is 8.5. But before that, 6-3, 10-1, 6-3, 6-5. 4 games, all went over. We're going to keep betting overs until Sandy figures these things out. I'm not saying he's going to get racked and get hit hard here, but I do think there's a chance for him to give up at least a couple of runs to the Baltimore Orioles, and then the bullpen may can't come in, and we'll see what the bullpen looks like. Alcantara in June had an ERA of 4.59. In May was 4.85. Pitch clock, the shift, whatever it might be, he's not been the same pitcher at all as he was last year in the National League. Now, he's going to be facing off against the Orioles lineup that can score pretty consistently, but Dean Kremer is going for the Orioles, 9-4 with a 4.78 ERA. His games are pretty interesting. We start looking at what his games have been like. 6-3, 8-1, 6-4, 6-3, 11-6, 10-2. Those are the last 6 starts for him before the break, okay? Not all his fault, okay? Only 1 earned run given up against the Yankees, but the bullpen gave up a bunch of runs. Gave up 7 in his last home start, earned runs in 3 innings against the Twins. Gave up 3 in 7 innings against the Seattle Mariners. Gave up 1 earned run, 3 overall in 5 innings against the Cubs, and 2 earned runs in 6 innings against the Toronto Blue Jays. But the Orioles score runs for him. The good thing is the Orioles can score. 11 runs at home against Toronto, 6 runs at home against Seattle, and 8 runs. He gave up 7 runs. So they lost that game, but that game went over. 8-1 went over 8.5. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to bet the over. It's -115, but until Sandy shows me otherwise, I'm going to keep betting overs on Alcantara games. Over 8.5, Miami and Baltimore at -115. Okay? So 3 bets here on a Friday as we get back to the sports world and get back to actually betting on games and not nothing, which is good. We have a UFC card tomorrow night that we're going to get involved with, which is good, even though last weekend I was awful in the UFC. So fade away on my UFC bets. But for tonight, we're going Utah -5 up against the Phoenix Suns in the Las Vegas Summer League. We are taking the Red Sox on the money line against the Cubs at -117. And we're taking the over 8.5 for Miami and Baltimore at -115. 117 for the Red Sox, 115 for the Orioles and the Marlins. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter and all socials at Sports Talk Matt. Every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.